What's up, everybody? You already know who it is. This is DripGodDero, and I'm back at you guys with another banger. So in today's video, we will be talking about what's next for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they definitely had them a great run this year. And with that being said, before we do switch over, I do want to thank you guys for the support that you guys have been showing on the videos. I really appreciate it. You already know, if you do enjoy this content, like the video, make sure you comment on it, and subscribe to the motherfucking channel. But without further ado, let's switch over and let's get right into it. Alright, so as we know, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they had an amazing year. They were the #1 seed, as we all know, and they had a decent playoff run. They made short work of the New Orleans Pelicans, beating them in 4 games. And then they ended up running into the Dallas Mavericks. Now, this series, it didn't go their way. They ended up losing this series in 6 games, 4-2. Mavs had 4, and OKC had 2 wins. And with that being said, that does bring a lot of questions in regards to what's next for this team. Now, just to talk about some of the players, I'd say the big focal point for this team and the best player on the team is SGA, aka Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. This man had an amazing series, an amazing, just playoffs and year in general. For the playoffs, he averaged 30 points, man. 30 points. And that was a very efficient 30 points at that, man. He shot 49% from the field, so pretty much 50%. And when it came to his 3-point percentage, he was shooting 43%. So pretty much, if he would have kept up, playing the way he played, and if they would have kept going and ended up in the finals, he would have definitely been my playoffs MVP. I know that isn't a real title or anything, but that's just how I feel about him, man, because he was literally going crazy. Another player that I do want to just shout out is Jalen Williams, man. Jalen Williams, only 22 years old, and he's definitely shown that he may be the second best player on this team. Now, during the playoffs, he averaged 18 points, and that 18 points was pretty efficient as well. 47% from the field, and 38% from 3 on 4 attempts. So he played well. A player that you may have a slight question mark on would be Luguentz Dort. Luguentz Dort, he played okay, but he had struggles when it came to finishing at the rim, man. When it comes to his 2-point percentage, he really struggled. He was at 29%, and that's something you don't want to see, especially in the playoffs. But from the 3, he was hitting decent. He shot 39% from the 3. But yeah, man, just to focus on some of the players and what's next for them during the offseason, I do have their salary and their payroll up right now. Y'all see it right here. Shout out to Hoops Hype, and y'all see it. The title, OKC Thunder salaries. And as you guys can see, they are 19th when it comes to their team payroll, which is great. That definitely means that they have a lot of options. The lower you are in payroll, that's more options and more money for you to actually try to go for some free agents. So let's take a look at it. And y'all see the different key options. Light blue is player option. Team option is red. Green is qualifying offer. And purple is 2-way contract. So let's take a look at some of their salaries. Now, when it comes to the salaries, you got SGA locked in for the next 3 seasons on a great, and when I say great, I mean a great deal, man. He's pretty much making around $35 to $40 million for these next 3 series. And if you done watch some of my previous videos, you know that for a player of SGA's caliber, he's low-key not making nowhere near as much as some of these other players on these other teams that we done took a look at. Most of these other star players that's averaging 30 points, they making $50 to $55 million. So that's definitely a great star right there. Now we also see Gordon Hayward, who is on this team, and as you guys can see, this is his last year of his contract. So they will have even more cap space next year because, as you guys see, he was making $31 million. So that's even more options. And just to start off with number one, the first thing I would do is use this cap space that you guys will have. You know, that's $31 million off the board or off the books. Take advantage of that and go for a free agent. Now, I'll give my thoughts on which free agent later on, but go for a free agent. All right, let's scroll down. Let's take a look at some of these other deals, man. All right, so you got Kevin Porter on the team. He's going to be making pretty much $1 million next year. That's cool because you really don't know if he's going to play, but he is a player that has a lot of potential regardless. Dort is locked in for the next 3 series. That's fine. You just want him to work on his finishing at the rim because he was definitely struggling with that in the playoffs. Chet is definitely a player that you will have to question just because, let's be real, man, he struggled in the playoffs. You know, they were really struggling getting offensive rebounds and just rebounds in general when he was on the floor. He was only averaging around 7 rebounds per game during the playoffs. And that's the same amount that SGA was averaging. The only difference between the two is that Chet is like 7'3". SGA is like 6'7". So you definitely want Chet to, you know, work on that, and that'll come over time. He'll get stronger and things of that nature, but that will bring me to one of the second things that I think needs to happen. Number 2, that would be is to draft a big. I'm not fully sold on Chet just yet, just because of how thin he is. And due to that, dropped another big just for insurance purposes. Also, Chet is kind of injury prone, so dropped another big. All right, but let's move on. Josh Giddey, he locked in for 2 more years. That's fine. Kenrich Williams is locked in for 3 more seasons. That's fine. He's a decent defender. Cason Wallace is also locked in. He's a young player with some upside. And Jalen Williams, way down here, he locked in for 3 more years, and he's pretty much the second best player on the team. So, hey man, they have a lot of upside. One final thing that I do want to show you guys before I do actually just go into what I think they should do next is just the NBA draft order, because this team, like I said, man, they have a lot of potential. As you guys can see, at 12th, let me scroll down a little bit more for you guys. At 12th, OKC does have a pick from Houston. So with that being said, there's your option to get a big right there. And just to give my thoughts on what's next for this team. Number 1, don't overreact. If you are the GM or the owner of the team, you guys overperformed. What I mean by that is that this is a young team. It's not like they got some really big name stars besides SGA, and they were the number 1 seed. And then they also had a decent playoff run. So with that being said, you guys overperformed. So do not, don't overreact. If you're the GM, don't do no crazy trades. You really don't need to do all that. That's my number 1. Number 2 is, if you're the OKC Thunder's GM, first thing you want is for Chet Holmgren to build some muscle. We seen Giannis come in as a skinny young man, and then he built some muscle. you need the same thing to happen with Chet. Chet at the moment, Chet is just a little too thin, man. He's getting moved around fairly easy when it comes to other big guards. So you need him to gain some muscle. Also, with that 12th pick, I would be looking for some bigs to draft just in case Chet gets injured, because he is injury prone as well. So that's number 2 on what is next for the Oklahoma City Thunder. For number 3, the final thing I would say is use some of this cap space to try to get a big name over there. The player that I would be thinking about trying to get is bringing back Paul George. The reason I say that is just because they will be losing Gordon Hayward. So if you losing Gordon Hayward, why not upgrade with a player like Paul George? I think that's definitely a good fit for this team. But hey, with all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, you already know what to do. Like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the motherfucking channel, turn on notifications and all that good stuff, and I'm out. Peace.